My chickens love me. My turkeys love me. Hey everyone, welcome back to Homestead in a Box. My name is Leah and I'm super thankful to have you. Today we are actually in the box. Just a FYI about Homestead in a Box, we got that name because, in case you didn't know, we live in a shipping container house. We are in the process of finishing our shipping container house, but we do live in it. It's very livable. And that is where we got the name Homestead in a Box, which is ironically funny because my husband Tree and I are some of the most out-of-the-box thinkers, hence the shipping container house, that I've probably ever met. We do not fall into the category of, you know, same old, I guess you could say. But anyway, a little bit of history behind the name Homestead in a Box. We are in the box today, but we're in the box today because I'm a sissy, it's cold outside, and it's time to start some seeds, okay? Today it's time to start my onion seeds in the house, get them under the grow lights. And yes, even in just a 40-foot long shipping container, I have a section of it sectioned off to grow food. Well, to start seeds. I am getting a greenhouse, which I am super excited about this year, but in the meantime, I'm starting some seeds indoors because it's just January still. It's still early. But things need to be started. Onions, herbs. I actually have some flowers I'm going to be starting, and I figured, why not just turn the camera on and come talk with you all about what you're actually going to need. Several of you have commented on my social media platforms about how you want to grow a garden this year, and I wish I had this video, so that's why I'm making this video. And plus, you know, if you've been here a while, I started this YouTube channel for my nieces and nephews, so they always have a place to go to learn how to be self-sufficient, raise animals, and grow their own food. I would want them to watch this video and leave it having a better feeling about growing food. So that's what I hope for you, is at the end of this video, if you haven't ever grown any food, that you leave it feeling like you're a little bit more comfortable about growing food. And if you do know how to grow food, thank you so much for just being here, watching this video, and supporting my YouTube channel. I am grateful for you. So anyway, come on, let's go get started and put some seeds in some soil and talk about the basics that you need. Real easy. You need sun, soil, seeds, and water. That is all you need to grow food, okay? It doesn't have to be hard, but let's go get started putting some seeds in some soil, and we'll talk about why it doesn't have to be hard and what you just need to know. Alright, so one of the, my turkeys are just right outside the door. One of the first things you're going to need to know is you're going to need to determine how you're actually going to plant, okay? Are you going to grow food in containers? Are you going to grow food in the ground? Are you going to do a raised bed? Are you going to do a no-till garden? I mean, the options are out there, and there are lots and lots and lots and lots of options of different things of how you can grow food, okay? So that needs to be the first thing that you determine, is how you actually want to grow the food that you're going to grow, okay? For me, for instance, I have containers, I have grow bags. This year I'm going to be growing my potatoes in like multiple different ways. I'm going to be growing them in hay, soil, bags, I mean just tons of different ways. So you need to determine what you're going to do. If you have a little area in your backyard that you can till up, that's great. If you don't, that's okay too. You can do containers. I thought there was more seeds in that, but I guess not. There we go. Okay. FYI, I have never had any luck germinating lavender. So, this is lavender, and I'm hopeful that it germinates. Alright, so the second thing you need to know that you need to have is seeds, okay? You need to know what you're going to grow. Only grow what you and your family are going to eat. I have a video I just put out last week on YouTube about things you need to keep in mind when shopping for seeds. Don't buy a bunch of seeds that you're not going to eat, okay? If you and your family don't eat radish, don't grow radish, okay? Really, don't grow it, okay? You end up with a lot of seeds. It's kind of like this catnip back here, you know. I'm going to start this catnip, but whenever I bought it, I had no idea why I was buying it. I was just buying it because it was on the website, okay? So know why you're buying your seeds, and only grow what you're actually going to eat, okay? Another thing you need to keep in mind is soil. You need to have good soil when growing food. Healthy soil is healthy plants, you know. Nutrient dense soil is nutrient dense food. So your soil health needs to be really good. There's a couple things that you need to know when looking at soil. If you are growing in containers, I'm sure you're probably going to go buy soil, and that soil is already made for, you know, starting seeds in or things like that. I need to put these on here so I know what they are, so when I go to label them. So definitely keep an eye on you're going to want to know your soil. If you are just going to grow food in your yard, you're just going to go either till up a little spot or something like that, you can buy a soil testing kit on Amazon. I also have a YouTube video over that. I did one last year. It's good to test your soil every season. That way you know what to add or what not to add, okay? There are some basic things when testing your soil that you're going to want to look at, and that's called the NPK ratio, and that's just nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. And everything you grow is going to require a certain amount of each of those things, okay? For instance, know that, you know, nitrogen promotes the leafy growth, the green leafy growth. The phosphorus that's in the soil is the formation of the flower and the fruit. The potassium, it enhances the hardiness, the cell health, things like that. So these are things that you do need to keep an eye out when looking at soil, testing your soil, things like that. The average pH of a neutral soil should be around 7, I believe. And that's just if you're testing your own soil at home. It's always a good thing to do to test your soil at home before you just start growing in it. Because if you have bad soil, you're not going to get the fruits of your labor. You're just not going to get, if you have bad soil, it's not that food's not going to grow, it's just not going to grow as well. You'll get better and more nutrient dense food the more organic matter and the more nutrient dense your soil is. Soil is actually a living ecosystem. So it took me a minute to actually learn that about soil, that your soil is a living ecosystem under the ground, okay? There's worms and spiders and just microbes, and like it's insane. I could dive really deep with you about soil and the amazingness of soil, but I'll save that for another video. So you're gonna need, know what you're gonna grow in, you're gonna need seeds, only grow what you're going to eat, and you're gonna need proper soil, okay? If you're buying soil from bigger places like Lowe's, Atwoods, Home Depots, things like that, they've got starter mix, they have multiple different mixes, and maybe I should do a video about what the different mixes and things like that you can start seeds in, things that you just put directly on the ground, things like that. Maybe I'll do a video about that. But anyway, so you're gonna need your seeds, your soil, know what you're gonna grow, and then know where you're going to grow, okay? Most garden beds do great going north and south, although I learned that the hard way after I already did a few of my garden beds going east and west, and that's where I planted my tomatoes this summer. And although my tomatoes grew and they did, hi guy, and my front door's open, and they did a good job, I feel like with the way the shade and the sun casts, any garden bed I ever add from here on out will run north and south. So take that into consideration also. Just have it planned out, okay? One thing you can never do enough for your garden, and that's plan, okay? You should see me. I've mentioned in a previous video, I've picked up a side gig working nights back in the healthcare, and in my spare time, I'm literally reading books. I'm planting my garden, I'm moving things. No, I don't want to plant that with this, I want to plant this with that, just companion planting. You cannot overplan your garden. You just really cannot overplan it. Last year I thought I did a great job planting. It turns out I really didn't, you know. This year I'm planning even more than what I'm planning last year. And the last thing you're going to need is you're going to need water. Water is what carries all the nutrients up to the fruit from the soil, okay? So you're going to need a good watering system. I keep it real with you all. Last year my watering system sucked, okay? And I really have to re-up my watering system this year. I bought drip irrigation, a drip hose last year, and wasn't really did not know how to use it properly. So I have 2 of them this year I'm going to be trying to use, and then other than that, I just hand water. I think hand watering, probably out of all of it, it's the most time consuming for me. If you've been following me for a while, you know I'm up at 6:30 in the morning watering my plants. I'm watering them in the evening, especially this past summer because Oklahoma just got really, really hot. So have a good watering system. Don't put your garden far away from where your water is, okay? You're gonna want, my garden is a kitchen garden, okay? So my garden is not far from my kitchen. It's easy, accessible to just go out to the garden, harvest, bring it right into the kitchen. So try to plan your garden close to you, close to your home. Whenever your garden's further away, you're less likely to look at it, you're less likely to see it. And y'all may not know this, but food growing is beautiful. They all put out flowers. My okra flowers, if I can find a picture, I'll pop one in right here, but my okra flowers from last year are one of the most beautiful flowers that I've had. So everything flowers, okay? The flowers that grow on your vegetables is what actually turns into the fruit. So those little yellow tomato flowers on your tomatoes, that's actually a tomato, okay? Same way with okra and eggplant and all of the squashes. Like, it's the most amazing thing to plant a squash and watch it bloom into the flower and then watch it turn into the fruit. I mean, it's amazing. It's beautiful. I love it. It's one of the many reasons why I love what I'm doing, okay? So, like I said, just real simple. I'm going to cover them again. You need sun, soil, seeds, and water. Know what you're going to grow in. Buy the seeds and plant the seeds, friends, okay? It is getting that time. Some of my flower seeds have to be planted 12 weeks before my frost date, and that's now, okay? I've said this on my last video, and I'll probably say it on a few more. Know your frost dates, okay? I'm in Oklahoma, Zone 7B. That is what I primarily will be focusing on my channel, is Oklahoma. And I'm on the ridge of 7A and 7B. It depends on which farmer around me you ask, and they'll tell you, oh, we're 7A or oh, we're 7B. I plant and farm like we're 7B, okay? Because I do live on top of a hill. Not a whole lot of cold pockets to worry about, so I say I'm probably more zone 7B. That's just my opinion. Like I said, ask everybody else, they'll have a different one. Those are just some real important things that you need to know. Like I said, I did a seeds video, just some things to think about before you're shopping for seeds. Check that video out. The next video is just going to be over starting plant starts, okay? What you need to start plant starts in your house, all right? Today, obviously, I'm starting plant starts. I put all my herbs in these bigger vases because all of the herbs I started today are perennials, okay? And a perennial just means that it comes back year after year after year. So instead of starting my herbs in these trays, my single cell trays, I started them in bigger pots. That way they can establish a bigger root system, and I can just transplant the whole soil and all out into my herb garden that I am currently still in the midst of trying to decide how I want it to be. But I have found that starting these in a little bit bigger pots gives them more room to grow. You have less pressure on putting them outside, but they all are, everything that I started today, lavender, thyme, marjoram, all of that is pretty frost hardy, so I can set it outside if there is a few cooler nights, things like that. I likely won't, but I can. So if you've been just wanting to start a project with your kids or something, grow some herbs, okay? Some sage, marjoram, thyme, oregano, things like that, and you can easily replace the herbs that are in your cabinet by just growing them. It's really not that hard to do whatsoever. I'm using dehydrated onions from last year, this year. Like, I made a pot of black eyed peas the other day, and I didn't have any onions, so I just used my dehydrated onion. I know that's not necessarily an herb, but there's multiple things that you can grow. I have basil in my freezer, you know, just I have dehydrated basil, dehydrated sage that I grew last year. So look, it doesn't have to be hard to start seeds. So I'm just gonna recap real quick before I get off here and plant my onions. You need soil, good soil. You need seeds. Only grow what you're going to eat. I do have, I will add an experimental food this year that I've never tried. They're actually Chinese noodle beans. They're grown to be 2 foot long. Pretty excited about them. So only grow what you're going to eat. You need sun, soil, seeds, and water. So have those things. Know that you're going to need those things. If you've had it in your heart to want to grow food this year, I encourage you, okay? I encourage you so much to grow food, even if it's just one zucchini plant, one cucumber plant, okay? This is me saying, hey friends, grow some food. If you're in a situation where you can and you want to, do it, okay? Because it's gratifying. It may not be as gratifying to you as it is for me, and that's okay. We don't all like the same jam, you know? But if you've had something on your shoulder saying, maybe I should grow that food, okay? That's not just something you should ignore, all right? Grow the food, friends. Thank you all so much for coming and hanging out with me today. I am super thankful for each and every one of you. As always, I'm sending you good vibes. Send some good vibes to somebody that you know. The world needs it. We all need it, friends. And thanks so much for being here. I'll see you all next time.